Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new around here, hi, I'm Mackenzie. Today we are doing a Disney World Q&A. I asked you guys on Instagram and here on YouTube just to ask me some questions that you have about the Disney World parks, trip planning, favorites, everything. And you guys delivered. You asked me so many good questions, so let's just go ahead and dive right into them. I'm so excited to answer them. First question we have is favorite ride in each park. This is easy, I can go through it pretty quickly. Magic Kingdom is Space Mountain. Animal Kingdom is A Flight of Passage, Epcot is Soarin', and Hollywood Studios is Rise of the Resistance. That was just my gut. That was my gut. I probably am forgetting a ride I really love, like Guardians. Next question we have is, do you think Genie Plus is worth the cost? This is a kind of iffy answer. I would say yes and no. At certain parks, it absolutely is worth the cost. Parks like Hollywood Studios and Magic Kingdom, you know, you can really stack the lightning lanes and do a lot of those big attractions. I found it's not necessarily as useful at Animal Kingdom and Epcot just because there aren't as many rides that you can really build up the lightning lanes for. I really was against Genie Plus in the beginning because I didn't like the idea of something that was free and now costing more money. However, I do see the benefit in it. I feel like the wait times for the lightning lane lines are a lot shorter than how the fast pass lines were. And of course, there's always going to be a different experience each time you go. So if you're going on a shorter trip, absolutely try to get Genie Plus. I feel like it'll just help you kind of maximize your time that you're waiting in lines and stuff. But if you have a longer stay, if you want a more leisurely stay, I think you're fine going without it. You can just buy the individual lightning lanes for those rides you really want to hit, like Guardians or Rise of the Resistance, but you don't necessarily need Genie Plus to have a good time at Disney. Next question I have is just transportation between the parks. I guess they kind of want to just know more information. And great question, because Disney has some pretty good transportation options between the parks. My favorite transportation option is the Skyliner, which if you're staying at Caribbean Beach, Pop Century, Art of Animation, Riviera, you can take the Skyliner to Epcot and Hollywood Studios, which I think is wonderful. And on the flip side of that, you can also take the Skyliner between Epcot and Hollywood Studios, even if you aren't staying at any of those resorts, which I think is great. I also really like the monorail, getting you to Magic Kingdom and Epcot from some of the resorts. I think the best part about Disney transportation is you do not have to be a Disney resort guest to use the bus systems, the monorails, the Skyliners. You can just park at the Ticket and Transportation Center or whatever park you're starting your day at, and then travel between the parks using the buses, the monorails, the Skyliner, everything. So I think that's a really great option. I think Disney transportation is great. I know some people do rental cars, and we've done a rental car in the past. I really just like not having to worry about it. They just get me there. I don't have to park. I just get out, enjoy my vacation. So Disney does have a lot of really great options as far as transportation goes. Next question is, any ideas on how to save for a trip? Yes. What really helped us last time was buying the Disney gift cards before our trip. We also kind of asked for them for Christmas and birthdays. So by the time we got to the trip, we had over $500 worth of Disney gift cards to spend on food, souvenirs, and it really just kind of lessened the burden of when you got there spending a lot of extra money after you already paid off your trip. So I think that's a really great way to save for all the extras, the dining and the souvenirs and things. If you book like a Disney vacation through the website, you can pay on your vacation. The full amount's not due until like a month before your arrival date. So it's really nice. You can kind of just pay. It's basically a payment plan. Disney vacations can get very, very expensive. So as long as you're kind of budgeting for putting money towards the trip, it's not a huge lump sum taken out at once, which I think is a good option. Okay, so next question, I get really giddy about these questions, if you can't tell. It's favorite resort you've ever stayed at. My favorite resort I've ever stayed at is the Polynesian. That trip with my family after COVID was just so magical. We had decided that that trip was going to be a lot more leisurely. We weren't going to be running, rushing, going to the parks all day. So we really invested in staying in a deluxe resort because we knew we were going to be spending more time in the room, and it was so worth it. The resort I've stayed at the most is definitely Pop Century, and I absolutely love it. It's a great option if you're looking for value, and it's also really well themed and has a Skyliner. So favorite resort is Polynesian, but the resort we call home is probably Pop Century, so I love them both. But that question kind of leads us into our next question. Someone asked Pop versus Coronado. I think they're trying to decide between the two, and they said they do stay at Coronado often. I might give the edge to Pop Century. I have stayed at both of them. Coronado is massive and it's a beautiful moderate resort. I think it's really just going to depend on what you and your family are looking for. Pop Century being a value resort, you do get a little less as far as hotel offerings, but you have the Skyliner, which is great. And I know I've said Skyliner so much in this video, but that's because it's so amazing. I think budget is a huge factor too. Sometimes I think about if I stay at a value resort, I can get more souvenirs or I could do more fun dinners and experiences at Disney. If you're going to be spending a little bit more time in your room, bumping up to a moderate or deluxe resort, I think is really worth it. But if you're going to be someone that's going to be going to the parks, just out and about enjoying all Disney has to offer, then I would definitely say maybe bump down to a value resort. I think Pop Century is always worth a try. That's all I have to say. Next question is best/favorite places to eat at Hollywood Studios. Hollywood Studios has some really good food options that people just don't talk about. My favorite quick service at Hollywood Studios is ABC Commissary. They have this buffalo grilled chicken sandwich that is so good. And Bryce last trip got the tacos and he said the tacos were better than Pico's Bill, better than any other tacos he really had on Disney property. Another great thing about this place is that it has refillable drinks, so you can go up and get a refill. I mean, it's amazing. Definitely recommend ABC Commissary. As far as table service restaurants go at Hollywood, Sci-Fi Dine-In is an incredibly themed restaurant and the food is really, really good too. We went after they updated their menu in November and thoroughly enjoyed it. The Orbiting Oreos milkshake. It's like a spiked milkshake. You must try it. It's so good. And the fried pickles, all I have to say. Honorable mention as far as table service would be 50s Prime Time. It is just as well themed as Sci-Fi, but it does have a little bit of a more limited food selection, so that's kind of why it's honorable mention. But there are so many good places in Hollywood Studios. Ronto wraps, forgot about those. Love the breakfast Ronto wrap. That's in Galaxy's Edge. Wow, you gotta try that. There's so much. I keep thinking of stuff. So Hollywood Studios got some good food there. So another Hollywood Studios question. You guys are coming in hot with these. Do you like Walt Disney Presents One Man's Dream? Yes, I love One Man's Dream. If you don't know what that is, it's kind of like a little walkthrough attraction at Hollywood Studios. It kind of gives the history of Disney and Walt Disney, and I love going through there and just reminding myself of the person that literally made that whole vacation possible. So I think it's a really special thing to go through. Also has great air conditioning. Next question, we're moving on to Epcot. Favorite Epcot festival? I think I'm gonna have to say Flower and Garden. Actually, I love Flower and Garden, not just for the food booths, but the topiaries and all the beautiful flowers they have on the Epcot lawns by the monorail just makes that park like just get even more beautiful. So I think that's my favorite because I feel like they do a lot more throughout the park with that one. But I love all the festivals, all that extra food. You can't beat it. This question is a lot. Favorite foods at each park? Wow, okay, I'm just gonna do snacks because if I did like actual restaurants, quick service, we'd be diving so far in. Hollywood Studios, I'm going to say the breakfast Ronto wrap is my favorite snack to get there. Tried it for the first time on the last trip and was obsessed with it, so that's mine there. Magic Kingdom is gonna be just like an ice cream treat from the ice cream parlor. I think like getting a sweet treat in Magic Kingdom just makes sense to me because everything's so happy and colorful and fun. So I like to get like a sweet treat like ice cream or something at Magic Kingdom. Animal Kingdom, Mr. Kamal's seasoned fries. I can't believe I almost forgot about that. Those are so good. The little dipping sauces they give with them adds a little bit of spice. It's just like French fries but elevated. Amazing. I'm gonna do another sweet for Epcot just to kind of have two savory, two sweets. Epcot, I had to look it up so I didn't pronounce it wrong. La Artisan de Glacier in the French Pavilion. I just butchered that, I know. But the little pressed brioche bun with ice cream in the center, we literally almost missed our flight to have that at the end of the last trip, and it was definitely worth it. So that's something that's super popular as well. You've probably seen people posting of it on Instagram or wherever, but I definitely recommend it. We did try to get it earlier in the trip, but they sell out, so go early in the morning if you can. But that little pressed brioche bun, it's warm, the ice cream is, oh, I love it. I'm so hungry right now thinking about it. Next question we have is favorite Disney World sweet treat. I kind of saved this for this question. It is at the Germany Pavilion at Epcot at the Caramel Couche, the caramel chocolate cookie sandwich. I'm gonna insert a little picture of it here. It is wonderful, you have to try it. It was amazing and I dream about it every day. All right, my camera died, but we're gonna go ahead and just keep moving on. Next question is another food question. It is a favorite overall restaurant at Disney World. This one's really easy for me. Steakhouse 71 has a really, really special place in my heart. Bryce and I on our little engagement moon trip went to Steakhouse 71 and had the most amazing experience there. The food is incredible, the ambiance is great, and I really feel like the servers there just make that place so special. I just love that place so much. The 1,000 gajillion layer chocolate cake makes that place just like rising up, and then the mac and cheese, it's got everything I love there. I also just love getting to take the monorail into the Contemporary before I go to Steakhouse 71, so that I think is gonna always have a really special place in my heart because it's consistently been good each time I've gone, and I've consistently gotten amazing service there. So definitely, if you haven't, check out Steakhouse 71 at the Contemporary Resort. This next question is probably the hardest question on here. Rank the parks from favorite to least favorite. I don't give this question any thought. Like, if anyone ever asks me in my, like, I just block it out in my mind because I don't want to pick a favorite, but I'm gonna do it for you guys right now. And I'm just gonna go with my gut again, kind of like I did with the first question. I'm gonna start with my favorite. So favorite park, Hollywood Studios, just came right out. I don't know why, I just love it. I think at night, that's what sets it over the edge for me. Second favorite park, Animal Kingdom. What? I don't know. I think so. I'm gonna put Epcot third. No, I can't. This is too hard. Okay, Hollywood Studios, Animal Kingdom, Epcot, Magic Kingdom. There, done. Epcot moved down for me after our last trip. That place just gets crazy packed. I think it's with all the construction in the center, but like, I was like walking like this, had no room to get through, and I think that kind of knocked it down for me. Also, we didn't really get to see it that much at night, which I think is something that I just need to do again, and maybe it'll go back up. Magic Kingdom is at the bottom, and I don't know how that happened. Animal Kingdom and I just got really personal, and I love it lately, so. But I still love Magic Kingdom, don't get me wrong, okay? It's just like, I don't know, that's my list. Okay, anyway, moving on. I can't think about it anymore, I'll get sad. Is spending a day at the water parks at Disney worth it? I'm gonna say if you're going on a longer trip and kind of want a day that's a break from the parks, but you're still doing something different at Disney, yes, you absolutely can do it. But if you're just going for maybe 3 or 4 days at Disney, I'm gonna say probably go to the parks and maybe Disney Springs and do that instead. Personally, I've been to both water parks and I preferred Typhoon Lagoon, so maybe check that one out if you're interested in a water park. Would you ever buy DVC? Yes. That's all I'm gonna say on that one, but hopefully pretty soon we will be DVC owners, which is kind of exciting. But yes, I would absolutely buy DVC. That would be amazing. That's like a bucket list item for me for sure. Next question is best/least crowded dates to visit the park. Really just depends on time of year. You're always gonna have a little bit of better shot with a weekday, especially at Epcot. Do not avoid Epcot at all costs on a Saturday and Sunday because it is a madhouse. It really is just gonna depend on the time of year. If you're there during a like school holiday, then the weekdays are gonna be crowded too. So just kind of depends on the time of year. Next question is overrated/underrated Disney attractions and food. I'm trying to think of any like overrated Disney attractions, and I don't know that I'm coming up with any. The only thing coming to my mind is Tron, and I haven't ridden it yet, so I don't think that's fair. I think it's just like, oh, okay, I'll give you one. Seven Dwarfs Mine Train is a little overrated in my opinion because it's so short. Like, I love that ride and I just want it to be longer, so every time I get on it, I'm like, dang. And I would not wait in the regular queue for that line whatsoever. So maybe that's overrated, but some people love it, so I don't want to hate on their attractions. This is hard. Overrated food, I'm gonna say that the cheeseburger steamed pods, they're really good, but they just taste like a McDonald's burger, and that's great, and they were really delicious, but I can get a McDonald's burger at home. If I'm gonna be paying for that, I want something special. And so while I would order them again, I do think people hype them up like a whole lot. Underrated Disney attractions. I used to always say People Mover for this question, but lately people have been given respect to the People Mover, which I love and appreciate because it needs all the respect in the world because it's an amazing attraction. Okay, underrated attraction, I got one. Star Tours. I I used to underrate Star Tours myself. I used to just be like, I don't want to go on it. Madison always would make us because she wanted to be the rebel spy. But Bryce and I rode it like 5 or 6 times in a night on our last trip because there was no wait. It was so much fun. The fact that you can get different scenarios each time, I think really just ups that ride. It does give you a little bit of motion sickness. After that 5th time, I was like, okay, we gotta cut this out. But I do think, especially with Galaxy's Edge opening, people kind of ignored that ride, and it always has a pretty low wait. But I do love Star Tours. I think it's great, and I think it's really fun and nostalgic and just gives me a warm feeling. Underrated food, I feel like I've already kind of talked about a little bit, because that ABC commissary and my little caramel chocolate cookie sandwich at Epcot, people go to the caramel couche and get like the little caramel butter bar, which I'm sure is amazing, but I don't see a lot of people getting the sandwich, or they get like the caramel version of the sandwich. The chocolate one is so good. You have to try it. Okay, final question is, I just want to know when your next trip is. I love all your Disney videos. Thank you so much for that comment. Thank you for all the little messages and comments you gave me just asking about when our next trip is. Y'all are just as excited as I am, which just makes me really happy. I'm super grateful that all of you enjoy kind of spending that time with us on our trips. Next trip, we haven't booked anything yet. I will say that it could be as early as this May and as late as September. So sometime between May and September, we will be heading back to Disney World. We have some like life events going on that are gonna kind of decide when we can actually go, but we will be returning really soon, and I can't wait to vlog it. I think that's gonna do it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching and sending in all your questions. If you don't already, follow me on Instagram. That way next time I do a Q&A, you can get your questions sent in. Like this video if you haven't already, and subscribe down below so you don't miss the next one. Just like it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I can't wait to see you real soon. Bye.